Ezine, I would love to be your friend. Okay. Nne, what is your name? Mommy Jaden, blocked. Mommy Michael, blocked. Mommy Zikora, blocked. Mommy Kososochukwu, blocked. Mommy Kamsi, blocked.
When I had my first son, my mother started calling me Mommy Jaden. And I hated it so much. I remember seeing a conversation online where somebody was like, if I ask you for your name, don't tell me Mommy Darasimi, Mommy Dupe, Mommy Comfort, Mommy all those things. Like, let me know your name. Before I had my first son, something that a family member of mine said to me was that, make sure when you born, can't be like all these women where we say they'll come, they do like say now motherhood, now be their entire identity. Me, I trust you now. You go, snap back, you get back into this your content creation, influencer something. No, make motherhood come be like say now be your entire life. And I was like, oh yeah, definitely, I obviously will never do that.
So I have been seeing this discussion online about women introducing themselves with their children's names, right, or as their children's mother. So basically, you meet a lady, you ask her what's your name, and she says my name is Mommy this, Mommy that, right? So I've been seeing this discussion online, and I never really talked about it or even responded anywhere or put anything about it out. But somewhere in my head, I was like, well, it's not that bad. You guys know me now. I am a champion and defender of, wives and mothers to have wife and mother as your identity, right? I don't see anything wrong with it. I feel like women should be allowed to do whatever they want to do, okay? Because there are so many people who make certain things their identity and we do not bother them, right? So somebody goes to the gym for 2 weeks, and then next thing, we cannot drink water and drop cup. Every time you're posting gym content, you're using style to show your bum in our faces, you are making going to the gym your whole personality. Nobody cries about it, nobody bats an eyelid about it. Somebody travels to 2 or 3 countries, and now she's now a travel guru, she's now a travel whatever, and they make that their whole personality and nobody says anything about it. Somebody's living alone, she's single, she makes that her whole personality, nobody says anything about it. I can go on and on. Again, I don't have issues with you making these things your personality, but when a woman decides to make motherhood her personality, it then becomes, oh, everything is about wife and husband and children. That should not be your personality. Marriage is not an achievement. Having kids is not an achievement. Blah blah blah. Marriage should not define you. Motherhood should not define you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, marriage and motherhood defines me like mad. It defines me like mad, right? And I'm not mad at it. I own it with my full chest, right? When I was seeing that conversation about introducing yourself as your child's name, it didn't bother me, even though it is not something that I do on a normal day, right? I've never done it. I don't see any reason why I should do it. I've had people address me as Kora's mom, and I didn't feel some type of way when they did, because it just felt appropriate, right? So let's say in my child's school they call me Kora's mom or Mommy Kora, or we go for a birthday party and they call me Mommy Kora. Wherever my kids are, if you call me Mommy Kora while I'm with them, or you call me Mommy Eva, or if you call me by my child's name, it doesn't bother me at all. And I always wondered why it's bothered other people, right? Until a neighbor of mine came to my house. She wanted to invite me for something, and that was my first time seeing her. That was my first time meeting her. And she told me about the thing she was inviting me for. I told her, okay, that's fine, just give me your number. So she gave me her number, and when I wanted to put it in my phone, I now said, okay, my name is Adeze, what's your name? She now said her name is Mommy. Let me just say she called herself Mommy Laziz. Okay, let's just say Laziz is her son's name. That's not his name, but let's just say that. So she said my name is Mommy Laziz, and I almost said hello. To be honest, immediately I got the ick. Okay, I got the ick. I did not expect to get the ick, but I got the ick. I was like, I don't get it. First of all, who is Laziz? I don't know who your child is. You're coming to me to talk business, because it was a business, the invite was for a business something, right? You're coming to meet me to talk about, you're introducing yourself to me first as your neighbor, and then as someone who is inviting me for something that had to do with your business. How did Laziz come into the picture? From where to where, right? So I got the ick, I'm not going to lie, and this is coming from somebody who mentally, or not, I wasn't actively, but I was subconsciously having the argument in my head, why are people bothered that somebody is referring to themselves as their child's name, right? Until I now saw someone who did it in real time. When you've not experienced something before. Because really, I have never experienced anybody telling me that their name is their child's, they addressing themselves like that, right? However, after a while, when she had gone on all of that, I was like, well, it is what it is. It's her choice to want to be addressed that way. But if I want to really think about it, I feel like the reason why I felt like that was because of the context. Okay, it was the context. It was like, what? I don't know who your child is. You know, it didn't make sense to me. For instance, let's say now I'm friends with your child, and then you come around and you want to introduce yourself as your child's mom, then maybe it will make sense. Or let's say your child and my child are friends. Yeah, let's say I go for a birthday party, because it happens to me a lot, you know, in this my children's new school. It has happened to me a lot where my children will receive invites for their friends' birthday parties, and I take them for the birthday parties. I don't know anybody there. I don't even know the child. I just know the child's name, right? So whenever I meet the child's parent and they say, oh, I'm this person's mom, I'll be like, oh, are you serious? KORA talks so much about your child, right? But I still go ahead and ask them their name. So, and in such cases, I was even trying to think about it. Highest thing I'll say is, oh, my name is Adeze, I am KORA's mom. I will first tell you my name, okay? I don't get it. I really don't get it. So yeah, as much as I am a wife and mother, you know, warrior, or whatever I'll call myself, as much as I'm always fighting for married women and mothers' right to do whatever they want to do, to address themselves however they want to address themselves, to, you know, define themselves whatever they want to define themselves, as much as that is what I advocate for, I also feel like we should try and, you know, have a balance, right? We should try and not, I want you to say lose yourself. That's not even losing yourself, because to be honest, what she came to meet me for was a business thing, and she's doing well in her business. It's not like, oh, she's one woman that all she does is just follow her child up and down, right? And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying that even in that context, she was coming to me. In fact, I eventually now saved, because I couldn't save, like, how will I contact you later? So I eventually saved her number with her business name. I still don't know her name till today, right? So I saved her number with her business name. So, and I saw, you know, pictures from her business and all of that. So she's doing well. So the defining part is not my issue. I think it's just that conforming to, I don't even know what it is, to be honest. Maybe I'm even just analyzing this in real time. I needed to know your name. I want to know your name. I hope she's not watching this video, please. But if she's watching it, I'm sorry. But I needed to know your name. I want to know your name. Why are you telling me your child's name? It has no bearing in that conversation, to be honest. Like, I don't see any reason why your child's name would have come into the picture. Again, this is not me putting down motherhood. This is not me saying that, oh, being a mom or having a child is like something that should be at the back burner. No, but context matters, right? Context matters, and I think this is what makes people see mothers a certain type of way, right? So I mean, it doesn't matter how you see mothers. That won't concern you and your family members. So this is me just fighting. I'm fighting the urge to put mothers down, or to, you know, attack mothers the way people attack mothers. I'm fighting that urge because that's not my intention. It's not my personality, or it's not who I am at all. But at the same time, I feel like if I were to understand things from another aspect, that's why young people or people who don't have kids sometimes criticize moms, because you have now almost erased yourself and you are now taking on the identity of being your child's mom. That's not all there is to you, even though that's a very important part of you. That's not all there is to you, especially when the context does not call for it, right? So I understand that. I understand why people feel the way they feel about moms, because the truth is that at this point in our society, we are course correcting and sometimes we overcorrect, right? The pendulum is swinging to the other extreme.
I remember I saw a statement somebody made talking about why do rich people snap back and other people just leave themselves and they never seem to snap back. Like, what's the deal? I feel like we keep trying to, no, I'm no longer a mother, like, you know. And I find myself thinking like this sometimes, like, you know, people see me and they be like, you know, if we be like, best we don't boy, you know, yeah. Why are you happy?
Why is society so obsessed with women not looking like they have given birth? What does that even mean? Okay, what does it mean to look like you haven't given birth, right? Because there are people on both sides of the aisle that look like each other. What I mean is this: there are people who have given birth and they look like people who haven't given birth, in quotes, right? While there are people who haven't given birth and they look like people that have given birth, in quotes. If there is no defining factor of what a woman who has given birth looks like, why is there an obsession with not looking like you have given birth or looking like you haven't given birth? I don't know if that logic is logicking, right? But what I'm trying to say is that except you go and open a woman's belly and look at her tummy, even at that, there's some women who don't have stretch marks on their tummy. There's some women who give birth and their tummy goes back to flat. Well, right? While there are some other people who are, you know, maybe on the bigger side or who just have big tummies, who their tummies might even have stretch marks, but they haven't given birth, they haven't carried a child before, right? So what is this obsession with looking like you haven't given birth? Now I understand looking good, okay, I understand looking good, I understand having a banging body, I understand, you know, looking fresh and all of that. Why can't we say, oh, you look good? Why do we say you look like you haven't given birth? Because they are two different things, right? There are two different things. And it reminds me of all these people who are obsessed with not looking like your age. I don't get it. Every Eke market day, I come on the internet and I see one millennial, one auntie that will sit down and carry camera and be saying, oh, I don't look my age, I look better than most Gen Zs. I'm like, you don't look better than any Gen Z. Like, you look like your age, you look like you are 40. Like, it is not bad for you to look 40. I see, I've said this thing before and I'm going to say it again. I am not one of those people who has an issue with growing older or looking older. I don't see what the problem is. Simply because you will never see a man, not even just simply because of that, but you know, one of the reasons is that you will never see a man make such a video. No matter how young the man looks, no matter how old the man looks, you don't see men making such videos. That's number one. Number two, what are you trying to say? That, oh, 36 is such an horrible age, or you want to remain young forever. Do you know what it means to be young forever? Do you know what it means that the last picture of you is when you are 23? Do you know what that really means? Do you want to explore what it really means for you to be young forever? Maybe I think a lot of people don't put much thought into it, but for someone like me, I don't like that trend. It is wrong on so many levels, and I feel like it reinforces a lot of stereotypes on so many levels, right? You guys get it. I don't need to unpack all of that, but it reinforces a lot of stereotypes which are not good. We have young people coming up, we have young people who are seeing these things. So basically, all I'm trying to say is that if you are 40, you look 40. If you are 50, you look 50. Nothing like, oh, I'm 40, but I look 23. You look 40, and that is totally fine. It is so okay. Me personally, I feel like I look better now than I'm almost 40 than how I looked in my 20s, right? Maybe not in my body, but at least facially or whatever, or overall, I feel like I look better now than I looked in my 20s. When I look back at my 20s, well, coupled with the fact that cameras then were even somehow, I'm just like, is that how I looked? What kind of makeup is that? You know, is that how I looked? But to be honest, that's pretty much it. If you're 40, you look 40. If you have given birth, you look like you have given birth. If you have not given birth, you don't look like you have given birth. Like, let us just look like what we are. Let's just admit. I don't even have to explain what I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say is that you are what you are. Stop being obsessed with looking like the opposite, okay? That reminds me of one trend I was seeing online as well, of women who say, I'm 40, but I look 30 or I look 23 because I don't have any husband and I don't have children, right? I saw that is a lot. In fact, if I can't search, I might find it. I saw it a lot, and I was just telling myself, like, what does this even mean? What are you talking about? Like, there are a lot of women who have given birth to 7, 8 children and they still look good. There are a lot of women who have given birth to 1, 2 children and they still look good. There are a lot of women who have not given birth to any children and they don't look good. Okay, I remember somebody commented on Priscilla's video, Priscilla or Joe, or Priscilla on Bacala, or what's her name now, saying, oh, rich people look like they snap back easily because they're not waking up by 4 a.m. to prepare food for their husbands or whatever. And then someone replied and said, you don't wake up by 4 a.m. to prepare food for a husband. Why do you look the way you look? Why don't you look like Priscilla? Why are you not giving what you're supposed to give? And that's the truth. So yeah, I don't see why generally people are obsessed with this idea of not looking like you have children, or not in fact, there's even a general obsession with not doing much for your children. And I get it, we're trying to course correct because in those days women did a lot for their children, blah 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 blah. But did they really? I feel like we're doing more for our children now than our parents did for us, which is not necessarily a good thing, okay? So I'm not saying that our parents were wrong. I'm saying that we need to watch it. We need to be careful. Those of us who are millennials or even Gen Zs that are raising kids now, you know, all this Gen Alpha and co. I feel like sometimes we do too much for our kids. Like, I don't know, maybe we think it's a sign of affection to do too much for our kids, right? So But in those days, let's just say parents used to do too much for their kids. So people are now trying to say, oh no, you should have a life outside of your kids. To be honest, I think that the examples people are giving are very, very are not the majority of people. Let me put it that way, right? I feel like when we say, oh, mothers used to lose themselves in motherhood, I don't think we're really referring to our mothers, because if you really sit down and think about it, many of our mothers did not lose themselves like that too. Hey, they had jobs. It was survival of the fittest. They had jobs, they had careers, they had things that they were doing, you know. Yeah, it's just that when it was time to be a mom, they owned it with their full chest. But it doesn't mean that all they did was being a mom. Even women who were stay-at-home moms too, they had so many other things that they were doing. They had so many other gatherings and so many other outlets. It's even now that I feel like people are being stay-at-home moms and not having outlets and not having, you know, much of a social life. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it's now that because we have social media and because there is the erasure of thought spaces. By that I mean we don't really have like clubs, or you know, we don't really have do so much in terms of gatherings of women. We don't have like August meeting or all those meetings that our parents used to have. We don't have much of that now. So a lot of moms are just, a lot of stay-at-home moms are just stay-at-home moms. Like they don't really have anything else going for themselves, which is why a lot of women run away from it, right? So I think that sometimes we just have this idea in our head and we're fighting that idea in our head, which if you now say, okay, let's even break it and let's even face reality, maybe not. Maybe we are still referring to the our mothers, okay? Maybe like the mothers of the pre-colonial era. I don't know, because even them too, they were not just mothers. They had other things that they were doing, okay? And I'm not saying that just being anyway. I keep giving all these disclaimers. I beg. Think what you want to think, I beg. Anyway, you see this feeling of being a mom is like your side gig, is like a distraction from getting what you want. I don't know why women keep deluding themselves, okay? Again, I'm not saying all women want to be moms. I'm not saying all women want to be married. I'm not saying all women should want to be moms and all women should want to be married, right? I'm not saying that. But what I don't understand is when a woman who is a mom and who is married now comes online and tries to girl power the whole thing and talk about, oh, my children don't define me, I don't spend time with my children, I don't have time to sit down with my children. Like, it's not the flex you think it is, okay? I know you're trying to commemorate or you're trying to, you know, identify with the single ladies or with ladies who, it does not mean anything, right? And instead of us making moms, you know, work twice as hard to achieve things that their unmarried or single counterparts have achieved, maybe we should give moms more grace, okay? What I mean is this: instead of us to see moms who have to take a break or who have to focus on their children as, you know, lagging behind, we should support them. Okay, that's why I always fight against this whole thing of, oh, if no man wants a liability. What is a liability? That a woman is at home taking care of her children. What is that? Is that a liability? Is that what you call it, a liability? Meanwhile, you that you go out and make the money, you are a bigger liability than anything else. Now you they go bring disease, now you they go cheat, now you they go bring strange women into the house, now you they go gamble money, now you they go waste money on other things you're not supposed to waste money on. A lot of men are liabilities, even though they are the breadwinners. But we don't understand that just because we just think liability is all about money. That is not. A woman can be at home not making any money, like actually making money, but be saving that home thousands, if not millions of naira every month. Yes, a woman can be at home and be a greater asset than the person that's even going out there to make the money. And it's also because we come from this angle of your money and my money, because we see a man's money as he's doing his wife a favor by taking care of her. Oh, guy, you know they do me favor. Now your surname I dey bear. You know I'm not bearing your surname. I was on my own. You came to marry me. You're not you. It is your responsibility to take care of your wife, sir. It is your responsibility, and the reason why you can make that money with your full chest and do what you have to do is because you have a wife at home who is taking care of the home front. In a lot of cases, that's how it is. So the woman is at home taking care of the kids, taking care of the home, managing everything. I don't mean she has to do the work herself. She might have help, whatever. But I'm saying she's the overseer of the home front, so that you can go peacefully, travel anyhow you want to travel anytime you want to travel, work anytime you want to work, you know, to make that money. So that money is for both of you, the same way the house is for both of you. the same way the children are for both of you, the same way the chores are for both of you, it's the same way that money you're making is for the both of you. So if she's doing the chores on your behalf, she's taking care of the kids on your behalf, she's taking care of the home front on your behalf, you are making that money on her behalf. You're not giving her, you're not doing her a special favor that you're giving her money. So that idea of a woman needs to have something doing, if not she's a liability, is from the pit of hell. I keep saying it. Am I saying women should not have anything doing or they should not make their own money? No, absolutely not. I'm saying that even if she's not making her own money, it doesn't mean she's a liability. Okay. You see this thing about snapping back, Now, I'm one of those people who, I don't even think I'll snap back. My last child is 5. Yeah, I'm still postpartum. I don't even think I'll snap back, right? But do you know that when I see people online who snap back, I don't feel any type of pressure. It does not. I admire them when I see people like Nara Smith that will give birth today, tomorrow she already has flat tummy, she's already cooking, she's already wearing, a runway outfit, designers and making I don't know, camera from scratch, right? When I see her, I admire her, I follow her, I love her content, but I don't feel any pressure whatsoever. So sometimes that pressure that we think society is giving us is you giving yourself the pressure. I know they pressure myself at all, right? Because I know that human beings are different. Your lifestyles are different, your genes are different, what you eat is different, the level of help you have is different, level of finances you have is different, the level of everything else is different. No matter how much you think you relate to another person's life, there are still some differences, right? So I don't feel that pressure. Anybody tries to pressure me, I just look at them like they don't have sense and I move on. It doesn't get to me at all. Honestly, if you are a mother and you have kids, even if it's just one child, please take your mental health seriously, okay? I made a video about how to, be happy, or how to, basically just get a hold of yourself, right? You need it seriously because it is so draining to be a mom. It's actually very draining to take care of another person, okay? It's whether you are even a mom or not a mom, as long as you are a caretaker of another human being, it is very, very draining physically, mentally, emotionally, right? But especially when it's your child. Because you have just aside the physical pressure of making sure your child is okay physically, you have the mental pressure of making sure that your child is okay even when you're not there, or hoping that your child turns out right. You have the spiritual pressure that you have to pray for this child. You have the emotional pressure of, hope I'm not spoiling my child, hope I'm not ruining my child, hope I'm not abusing my child, hope I'm not, there's a whole lot involved, right? So anytime you see any mom, just pat her on the back and squeeze money into her account, okay? Squeeze money into her account. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this topic. Are you one of those women who introduce yourselves as mommy something, or are you like me, or are you of the opinion that it is not necessary, or are you somewhere in between? No, actually I'm the one that is somewhere in between. It is not unnecessary, but context matters, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll see you all in my next video. Please subscribe to my channel if you've not subscribed already. I really appreciate it. Okay, bye.